Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. More reactions to Lisa Hanna's resignation from representational politics. Jamaican culture watered down or evolving. Cultural experts weighs in. And later in sports, West Indies' 3-match series against New Zealand gets underway today at Sabina Park. I'm Shane Masters and here are the details. Questions this afternoon about the reason behind the departure of Southeast St. Ann MP Lisa Hanna from representational politics. Ms. Hanna wrote a letter to PNP President Mark Golding yesterday where she said she will not be offering herself as a candidate for the People's National Party in the next general election. More in this report. The announcement came from the Southeast St. Ann MP Lisa Hanna minutes to 5 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon and has left many in shock. It has led to questions such as, are there other underlying issues within the party? The PNP has been faced in recent times with a number of public spats with its members over the running of the party and its leadership. In recent months, party officials said unity had returned. But with this latest resignation, questions are again swirling about whether that talk of unity was actually real.
I don't think the resignation has anything to do with unity, quite frankly. The resignation has to do with Lisa's own issues and where she wants to go with her life. The unity that we've been building, I think, is real, and I think that we have all committed ourselves to making it stronger.
Political commentator Damien Gordon believes that the issues leading to her resignation were more constituency-based and personal.
And I think it may be a situation where Miss Hanna feels that her aspirations, her ambitions, and her expectations have not been met. And she perhaps feels that she has run out of time. She cannot go any further in the party. So she has made a conscious decision that her needs and her expectations are not being fulfilled, and she has decided to step away.
But social commentator Latoya West Blackwood believes Ms. Hanna's resignation is a sign of deeper issues within the opposition People's National Party.
It says to me that some of the recent public shows of unity in terms of the leadership of the party, there seems to be some lack of authenticity there, and that the divisions run a lot deeper than what is being presented. I think we all can agree that in terms of women in representational politics, it's not that we have an abundance, and so of course this news not only comes as a shock, but it causes us to reflect on that. We have lost someone who has served, has emerged over the years as a front runner in terms of serving her party and at the constituency level.
Now, in her letter to the PNP president yesterday, Ms. Hanna said, quote, "For any organization to survive and be relevant to successive global environments and markets, it must be responsive and change with the times, seeking modern approaches to getting things done. This does not mean changing our core principles, mission, or value proposition, but rather embracing modern communication, applying our principles to 21st century challenges, empowering the next generation, and most importantly, attracting and retaining the right talents to get the job done." End quote. In the meantime, at least one councillor in Ms. Hanna's Southeast St. Ann constituency says he's not surprised by her announcement. TVJ News spoke with the councillor for the Beachertown division, Ian Bell, who resigned from the constituency's executive last year due to differences with Ms. Hanna.
Councillor of the Beachertown division, Ian Bell, says he knew of Lisa Hanna's departure from the result of the 2020 general election. He says since then, Ms. Hanna has been non-existent in the constituency.
I think if she had come into Beachertown division since September of 2020, for 2 or 3 times, that would be the most.
Mr. Bell says Ms. Hanna's departure will be to the benefit of the constituency. At the same time, he hopes that it will not cause further division within the PNP.
I don't think we could have anybody that is as bad in terms of communicating and dealing with our councillors, with their councillors as much as she. Now put it this way. You have 4 councillors in one constituency, and not even one of them don't tell your morning. It can't be that something is wrong with the four. Something must be wrong with you.
He added that Southeast Sintan needs better representation to restore Sintan to its former glory. However, he will not be taking up that baton.
I have no interest at this time. I have no interest that I am indicating at this time to run for Southeast St. Anne or no other seat for that matter at this time other than that of the Beachertown division.
Cody Barrett, TVJ News.
And Ms. Hanna's constituents are also reacting to her impending departure from representational politics. There are mixed reactions from residents within Ms. Hanna's constituency following her announcement to leave representational politics after the current parliamentary term. Some of her constituents believe she should have demitted the post already based on the results of the last general election, where she marginally held onto the seat with 32 votes after a magisterial recount.
The people in us here, she and the council are them at fault at all four. So if she and the council then can't do what they have to do, then better she go.
For another constituent, Ms. Hanna's close margin of victory in the last election was based on the limited resources allocated to her by the government.
Maybe if they had given her some more, they should have been able to have done better for us. Because, you know, as you travel along the road, you see the potholes. And we have to be traveling so cautiously as we go. But I wish she could spend another term and they could give her some more money to do some more work.
You think if she had stayed another term that the PNP
and she had some more money,
win?
if the government had given her some more money to use in the area.
You think she'd be able to retain the seat, realizing that she only won by 32 seats the last time?
I think so, you know.
But while her stewardship as an MP is under scrutiny, the constituents described her as down-to-earth.
And one of the things I admire about her is that she mixed with the common people, because I had an experience with her at once. We were on a visit. I think it was the education minister who was around in the area and was visiting. She was with him. And we had to go through the rugged path. She took off her shoes and was there going through because she had on the heels. And she was just there with us, you know. And I admired things like those about her.
For the latest in the world of finance, we go to Cody Barrett for the Business Minute.
A preliminary price tag of about $304 billion has been attached to an implementation plan and rail service that form part of the proposed redevelopment of downtown Kingston's market and commercial district. This should form part of a proposed multimodal transport network for the city. As part of the contemplated public-private partnership, the government will seek a loan to pay for aspects of the development from the World Bank and its private sector lending arm, the International Finance Corporation. In business globally, U.S. consumer prices increased by 8.5% year over year, a slower pace than the 9.1% increase in June. On a month-to-month basis, inflation was 0% compared to 1.3% increase in June. Prices began rising sharply in early 2021, with the rate of inflation almost doubling over the past year. That's it for the Business Minute. I'm Cody Barrett.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's health report.
In this evening's health report, we'll look at sun exposure and skin cancer.
The UV lighting that we get from the sun, there are three types, and the two that come to the surface of the earth include UVA and UVB. So UVB is responsible for causing skin cancer, while UVA, which penetrates actual windows of your car or your glass of your car, that can cause skin aging. So you can get a lot of wrinkles, you can get the leathery like skin, you can get significant darkening.
That's the health report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Wear sunglasses. Never look at the sun directly. Wear a wide-brimmed hat and use sunscreen.
Time now for the top regional and international stories, again with Cody and Barrett.
In the region, the United States Coast Guard says it has offloaded over 2,000 pounds of seized cocaine following 3 separate at-sea interdictions in the Caribbean Sea. The Coast Guard said 40 nationals from the Dominican Republic who were detained during the operations are now facing U.S. federal prosecution in Puerto Rico. The drugs have an estimated value of $22 million. The U.S. Coast Guard says the interdictions are the result of multi-agency efforts involving the Caribbean Border Interagency Group and the Caribbean Corridor Strike Force. On the international scene, the U.S. is using a new strategy to stretch its supply of monkeypox vaccine. But officials say that still might not be enough to meet short-term demand. The plan lets providers put smaller dose shots into the skin rather than under it. That allows each original dose size to vaccinate up to 5 people. The national stockpile has more than 400,000 doses. Now, they could help protect more than 2 million people. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
That's the Midday News. I'm Shane Masters. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, have a good afternoon.